Hello and welcome everyone to this month's Creatrix Conversations. My name is Flora and I am a ceremonial priestess, a cyclic living teacher, a sacred musician, and hostess of this sacred online space that is Awaken the Goddess Within. So thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to diving into this topic with you today. We are going to be discussing how to work with winter wisdom and the Crone goddesses. So this is, if you're new to Awaken the Goddess Within, or you're new to me, first of all, welcome. So glad that you are in this community. And these monthly Creatrix Conversations are an opportunity to educate, to inspire, all around topics of divine feminine spirituality and really anything to do with the spiritual path. And really the intention of these Creatrix Conversations is to spark conversations for this community to engage in. So thank you for tuning in today. The reason that I was so inspired to share on this topic is that it's seasonal, right? It's timely. I recognize that, of course, this is a global community, and so our sisters in the South are enjoying summertime. So yay, thank you for being in that summertime energy. But for the rest of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the deep winter. So let me know in the comments just how much winter are you in? Here it's been about -2, sometimes getting just above 0, which then melts the ice and snow, or it rains and then it goes back to freezing. So it's really icy. So yeah, we're in that kind of point of the winter, and I'm hoping that we can still have some beautiful snow. I love the snow. And let me just see. I want to make sure that I'm seeing comments. Yeah, okay, we're good. So each season is associated with a different archetypal energy, a different kind of goddess energy, right? Oh, hello, Yelena. It's in the 50s in Tennessee, and that's probably mild. I don't know Fahrenheit very well, just like I know Americans don't understand Celsius, but the winter, right? Even if you live somewhere that's subtropical. One of my best friends in the world right now lives in Florida. And so we're always, talking about how different the climate is. But even in Florida, she's been telling me how she experiences winter in Florida, which, isn't usually freezing temperatures, right? But that there's still this slowing down in nature, and there's still shifts that are perceptible. Even in that very different region compared to where I am in British Columbia, Canada. Oh, great. I'm seeing some more comments. So it's eerily too warm here in, I'm thinking that's Wisconsin, maybe. So you're used to it being colder in January. Michelle is deep in winter in Northern California. Not as cold as here, but it's dark. It's very wet. Yeah. Okay, great. So with cyclic living, the intention with cyclic living is for us as the human species, right, to remember how to live in harmony with nature's rhythms. And it's something that I'm really passionate about, which is why I teach on this. And And like I said, even if you live somewhere where the 4 seasons aren't as distinct, that when we engage in a cyclic living practice, and this can be done in many, many ways, we begin to attune ourselves to the to the energy of the season, right? To the energy of nature. So I love the winter because it gives us this chance to slow down, right? And to sit with the grandmother energy, the Crone goddesses. And in my cyclic living program, which I call Walking the Wheel, which is a reference to the Celtic wheel of the year. So in Walking the Wheel for Yule, because we're now in the season of Yule, which is the winter solstice, our goddess is the Cailleach, who is a Scottish Crone goddess, and very much connected to the landscape, to the season of winter. She's known as the Queen of Winter. And I also in the group brought in Frau Hulda, or Mother Hulda, as another Crone goddess that is associated with this season. There's also Skadi from the Nordic pantheon. There's many Crone goddesses in different cultures around the world. Hello, Natalie. Yeah, -18 where you are in parts of Sweden where you are. Yeah, because you're really in the Arctic Circle or getting close to the Arctic Circle. Yeah. So it's we're very aware as women in Western culture in the 21st century. We've become very aware of how, in general, society dismisses and discredits elders, in many different ways, and in particular older women. And this is a sad reality, but it's also one that I feel is changing all the time. The more that we can bring the divine feminine back into our conscious awareness in all of her faces, right? Not just the maiden or the mother or the queen, but also the crone. Then we're also expanding our appreciation and awareness of all of the cycles. And it relates to nature, but also our life cycles. So we are here today to celebrate winter, the wisdom of winter, and Crone energy, celebrating the grandmothers and the grandmother goddesses. So I want to make one thing clear, and I'm going to be sharing 9 tips, by the way, too. This is, I love working with a list. So 9 tips on how to, really activate this in you and work with this energy more. But first, I want to make it clear. Yeah. Oh. You ordered Maiden, Mother, and Crone felt dolls. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. See, and even that, I'm going to just go on a little tangent, right? I have the triple spiral tattooed on my wrist. This triple spiral is an ancient Celtic symbol, and that trinity of the Maiden, Mother, Crone, or the triple goddess has been with us for a long time. Even that is shifting in our modern awareness, for us to have there's an emergent 4th archetype, right, for women. And I personally like calling it queen. There's a new life phase, and as such, there's a new archetypal expression that women in the 21st century are having the longevity of years, but also the freedom to express, and that's the queen. And so, the beloved trinity of Maiden, Mother, Crone, is still there, but that's why I said Maiden, Mother, Queen, and Crone. And it's interesting, too, that when we add that emergent 4th feminine archetype, then it matches with the 4 seasons really, really nicely as well. So I love correspondences. Okay. Anyway, I want to make something clear here that the crone goddess, the wise woman, does not just indicate old age, right? It's easy to think that, and it is often connected. But you can embody that wise woman energy, and you can connect with your inner crone goddess at any age. Just like if you are actually in, an elder in age, that you can still connect to your inner maiden or your inner mother, right? So I want to make that clear. It's not just about age. However, the quality of her archetypal energy often comes more naturally to us, is expressed more naturally to us in our golden years. Hopefully, right? Aging is inevitable. Getting older is inevitable. Getting wiser is a choice. So I want us all, thank you all. I love that you are, that there's comments and reactions. So I love that we have live viewers, and anyone who's watching the replay. I just invite you to let's take a moment of silence. Just simply breathing. Just giving yourself these few moments to slow down, to breathe, as we can open the portal, open this space for us to feel and experience the wisdom of winter and that crone goddess energy that is slower, more reflective. Hail and welcome to the crone goddesses. Yeah. So I'm feeling that inner shift, even in now how I'm talking with you, right? The crone is, she holds wisdom that comes from her life experience, right? The wisdom that comes with age. And it also comes from everything that she's learned. And because of that, the energy of the crone is slower to react, right? And when that emotional react, she reflects and then responds appropriately, right? She's comfortable in solitude. She's comfortable in stillness, in quiet, right? It makes me think of a grandmother knitting by a fire, right? Not hurrying, just being. There's a beautiful presence to the crone. Yeah, discernment. Yeah, I like that word, right? Rather than reacting, it's discerning. Yeah. The wise woman crone, especially as an archetype, and when we look at goddess archetypes that embody this, the wise woman crone really trusts her intuition implicitly. She trusts her inner knowing implicitly. She trusts the unknown because she's been around long enough to know that it's all unknown, right? So that energy is able to navigate the unknown a little easier. She trusts in the cycles of life. Yeah. Again, because she's been through so many cycles of life. But again, you don't have to wait until your retirement age to really embody this energy. And but it's something that simply needs to be cultivated. When we embrace our own crone energy, our own wise woman energy, we are accessing what the Toltec call silent knowledge. Now, the Toltecs are one of the indigenous peoples of Central America. And this wonderful book, it might show up backwards, I'm not sure, but it's called Warrior Goddess Training. It's by Heather Ash Amara. She had a Toltec mentor, teacher. And so she speaks about this, and I'm going to read from this. When we fearlessly step toward the Crone energy, we access what our Toltec call silent knowledge. Silent knowledge. Silent knowledge includes but transcends our intuition. I like that. Silent knowledge includes but transcends our intuition. When we are connected to our intuition, we are receiving messages from the invisible world of spirit that helps us navigate this material world of form. When we connect with silent knowledge, we erase the boundaries between these two worlds of spirit and matter, known and unknown. We step beyond duality, beyond right and wrong, beyond rules, and into absolute connection with all that is. We are all born connected to silent knowledge, and at any time we can reconnect with this birthright. Silent knowledge arises when we become still and expand our perception beyond our ego and personality and into the always present truth that we are one with all life. So when we become still and expand our perception, that is when we can erase that illusion of duality and we move into unity consciousness, which many of you will have heard me speak of because that is the foundation of the priestess path and the priestess training that I've received. And in the Central Mystery School program of Earth Song Temple, which is a program that's called She Spirals, we are intimately and deeply working with, it's a training in consciousness to be able to easily move beyond that illusion of separation and into oneness. So we, through, priestess skills, spiritual practices, I mean, there's a lot of different terms for the same thing, but it's this silent knowledge it's beyond our personality. It's even beyond our own personal intuition. It includes it, but transcends it. And this one last line, we unplug from our own self-importance and realize that we are each a tiny cell in the body of the universe. We are all cells in the body of the goddess. And from this awareness, we don't need to look for answers. Answers arise spontaneously within us because we are everything. So, my loves, this is, I think this is also why embracing the Crone energy, embracing the wisdom of winter is so key, because it helps us access this. And it makes so much sense that we are in a world of such chaos and disillusionment when we look at how we reject winter in so many ways and suffer through it, right? And also how we disrespect and dismiss our elders and their wisdom. And so there's like a missing phase in the essential cycle of life and the passing down of wisdom. But this is something that can be reconnected, reestablished. And so I'm going to go into the 9 ways that we can cultivate this and connect in our life. Yes, I welcome it. and the elders. Oh, and I don't know why, but we're talking about birthdays in the comments. I will definitely come back and respond to all the comments after the broadcast. So number one, and these aren't in, like, they aren't in priority order or anything. There's just 9 ways that you can cultivate and connect with your own inner wise woman crone energy, where you can connect with this silent knowledge. Okay. Number 1, take 1 hour a week to be in silence. What an idea, right? Take at least 1 hour a week to be in silence. Now, for many people, the reality might be that you would need to take 15 minutes 4 times a week, right? Maybe early in the morning before the kids wake up or something, right? That might work best for your schedule. Or perhaps you can actually begin to schedule it in, block it in. When are you going to take that hour to be in silence? Some people have really developed their capacity for sitting meditation and can sit in silent meditation for an hour. Personally, I don't know that I could do that. I would take myself into nature and take that silent hour in a contemplative and intuitive nature walk. So how might you do that? Does this even appeal to you? That's really interesting too. Notice if any of these suggestions you're really attracted to. Also notice which ones you're like, no way. There's good information for you there. So that's number 1. Take 1 hour a week to be in silence, because that is how we will access our silent knowledge with the Crone goddesses. Number 2, stop multitasking. Oh my gosh, this is a disorder of the modern age for sure. Stop multitasking and just catch yourself. Like, just eat. Can you just eat without thinking you also want to read, or you also want to scroll, or I don't know what else you might want to also do? You're eating while you're driving somewhere or something. Can you just, do one thing? Can you just do the dishes? Can you have one tab open on your computer, right? So some of you might be like, oh, that's easy. And some people might be like, oh yeah, I usually have like 25 tabs open, right? And it's okay. And there's no judgment here. But one way to access the more simple, slowing down energy of the Crone goddesses is to stop multitasking. You had a dream about this morning. Nice. I love that. Well, dream time is a beautiful way to be in this connection as well. Number 3, create more spaciousness in each moment by bringing more of your full presence to it, and through conscious breath. Like, create more spaciousness in each moment by fully inhabiting the moment. And this, it obviously relates to the multitasking, right? Have you ever had a day where you felt like, okay, have you ever had a day that just like whipped by and you just like, you don't even know how everything happened? At the end of the day, you're like, whoa, that was a crazy day, right? And have you ever had a day where it just seemed to stretch out and like the hours were so full and beautiful, and your presence has made such a difference to how you perceive your day, as well as your schedule, of course. There's internal factors and there's external factors, of course. But this is just to encourage you, like, can you be fully present? And always using your breath. The breath is the simplest vehicle that in any moment, taking that conscious breath and just to be really present suddenly creates all this spaciousness in your awareness of time. It's almost like we can slow down time through our present awareness. Yeah. I'm doing these 3 things right now. It's like you're seeing me. I'm seeing you. That's wonderful. Okay. So I'm going to recap all of these. But so that's number 3. Number 4, take a solo weekend silent retreat for yourself. Now this is big. Is this something that I've ever done? No, I don't think so. Not a whole weekend. So it was funny as I was coming up with this, and I thought, yeah, that's something I want to do. Again, depending on your circumstances, maybe it's just a whole afternoon that you can take for yourself. But I mean, imagine gifting yourself that time. Yeah, yes. Just your own, I don't even mean going on a silent retreat, although that's amazing too. Absolutely. But this is something that you could gift to yourself. Again, just to give yourself that space and that solitude to reflect and connect. Number 5 is to connect with your inner wise woman daily. Just like as becoming like a spiritual habit. To connect with your inner wise woman daily. And of course, she's always there to ask for clarity or for guidance, or like help me with this, with this. But it's also important to not only reach to our spiritual guides when we're feeling in crisis or when we're feeling, like help me, right? Someone recently, a friend of mine, was sharing the comparison of, have you ever had a friend that only calls you when they need to lean on your shoulder? Or like, have you ever had that friend that only reaches out when they're in a tough spot? And it's like you're their free counselor, maybe. It's either the opposite of a fair weather friend, right? Like they only come to you when it's like, oh, I need your help, right? Well, think about that when you can relate it to your higher self or your spiritual guides. They don't want to only hear from you when you're like, help me. I'm such a mess. I can't figure this out, right? They want to hear from you all the time. Of just like, hey, good morning. Good morning. I'm grateful. I'm doing well. So remember to just if we make it a practice to just connect with our inner knowing, and this really does not need to take a lot of time, just on the daily, no matter what, right? No matter what's going on, to celebrate and to share gratitude, or also if you're saying, hey, I could use some guidance. I could use some help here, right? Yes. Oh, Julie, you're saying, I think I shall become aware of how long I can go in silence. Yeah, just that's great, being aware of it. And again, I keep on saying that, of course, everyone's circumstances are different. If you're a mom with 4 school-age kids, like, silence is when the kids are at school finally, right? And whereas if you live alone, you're probably thinking, I don't know if I need much more solitude and silence. Maybe you can just be more intentional with it. Okay, so that was number 5. We've got 4 more, and I will recap them at the end for the sisters that are just joining. Yeah, you live in the mountains alone. Number 6, yes. Reframe your perspective on the unknown. If the unknown scares you, if you're someone that has developed a lot of coping mechanisms to try to give you that security that you are in control, right? You reframe how you think of the unknown and lean into more trust of the unknown. Lean into the feeling of freedom that, in fact, the unknown gives us. Because when it's all unknown, anything is possible. So there's this invitation is really, and again, I mean, we go deep into this when in She Spirals and in the Priestess Path, it really begins, and even right now we're in the Great Mother energy, which is really all about leaning into the unknown and trusting in the unknown, and knowing that we are still held and loved and guided in the unknown. Yeah, be curious. Be curious. And the unknown is suddenly a playground of possibility rather than this fearful, uncertain thing, right? So the connecting with your inner crone goddesses can really help you reframe your perspective on the unknown. Number seven, through meditation, ritual work, and energy practices, learn what channels of perception are heightened for you. So this is when we start to develop your intuitive skills. This is something that, and this is obviously a topic that we speak into at length, because this entire community is full of conscious, spiritual, intuitive women, and a lot of you are wanting to develop your intuition. And so one of the first tips that I always give is learn what channels of perception are just naturally more heightened for you, because then you can understand, okay, I'm clairsentient. I actually feel things through my body, through sensations. And this is my own story. I'm primarily clairsentient. I didn't even know that was a thing, because clairvoyance gets all the spotlight. And because I wasn't clairvoyant, I thought that, well, I'm not very visual. I don't have that. I guess I'm not very intuitive for many, many years, because I didn't understand that actually there's other channels too. And it turns out I'm very clairaudient as well. No surprise there, really, since I am a trained musician and singer and have trained my ear. But now it's like, oh, I'm training my clairaudient ear, right? And I've said this before, but it bears repeating, that through practice and through surrounding myself with other women on the spiritual path, guess what's happened over the last 5 years? I've become much more clairvoyant. I've developed my inner eye. I can actually receive, images and symbols now in a more visual way than I ever could before. But it's also because I think that I had to first recognize that my primary channel was the clairsentience, the feeling. So if you know, might be fun, you don't need to share, but if you feel like sharing, do you know if you're more clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, or claircognizant? Claircognizant is like just the clear knowing. I've had people describe it as like just the information drops in and it's boom. I don't know how I know it, but I just know it. Those are the four main ones, right? And the more that you lean in and get comfortable, I believe, with your primary, like your natural one, then, like I said, then the other ones start to fill in as well. So basically, tip number 7 is to be able to access and activate your silent knowledge. And like we said earlier, it includes your intuition, but transcends it. But it's through that intuitive development. Beautiful. Sister sharing that clairsentient and claircognizant. Yeah, and you can see things. So you've got some clairvoyance, clairsentient, claircognizant. Beautiful. Right? And that's good to know how you are likely to receive some intuitive information. And absolutely, sister, they will show up differently at different times, different situations. Definitely. Okay, a couple more. Thank you, everyone, for loving all of the comments and the engaging here, and loving all this love for the Crone goddesses, right, and this winter wisdom. So number 8 is from that intuitive practice and strengthening your intuition, then you can refine your understanding, your personal understanding of what's a fear pattern or a thought pattern versus what's your intuition. Because our ego is very good at tricking us, right? And we'll feel an emotional reaction, which is in fact, a a trigger from like an old behavior pattern, and we think, oh, I'm getting a strong no on that. And if we don't spend the time to actually, we're back to your discernment, the sister that shared discernment. The more we practice and the more we develop, we can discern, oh no, that's actually a fear pattern that's being triggered. Not my intuition telling me no. In fact, when I really listen in and feel into my intuition's saying yes. But it's my ego or that pattern that is saying no because it's afraid, right? Or vice versa, right? You can refine your own understanding of even how you can check in with your own body wisdom and be guided, right? It has come yeah. It has come along with fear, so I have to do what was suggested today and be curious about these gifts. Yeah, that's right. That was your own wisdom about being curious. Yeah. Number 9. So we've come to all 9. The 9th tip, the 9th suggestion for connecting with your silent knowledge and working with the Crone goddesses is to specifically work with a Crone deity for spiritual support. See who you're drawn to, or see who is, naturally seems to be knocking on your door, metaphorically, right? If you're a long time devotee to Isis, for example, that's awesome. Isis isn't going to be mad if you start, spending a little bit more time with a different deity. I can assure you, right? You're not disrespecting Isis. I find that this is harder for some women, witches, whatever, that get really devoted to a certain deity and perhaps get a little, dare I say, codependent, just attached. I'm inviting you to just expand who you are sitting at the feet of spiritually. And perhaps this might inspire you to think seasonally that, in the spring, you can, intentionally connect with the maiden goddesses, the creatrixes, the bringers of the dawn, right? As the light is increasing. In the summer, be with the mothers. In the autumn, sit with the queens. And in the winter with the crones. That's a beautiful practice, one that I do quite naturally because of the cycles of the seasons. And of course, Bridget is my beloved goddess. Artemis is my beloved goddess all year long, right? And but is there a more elder Crone goddess that you are feeling drawn to? Maybe it is the Kaliak, right? Like I mentioned earlier in my Walking the Wheel, that's our Crone goddess for this season. And for each holy day, there is a goddess meditation and an invitation to work with that different energy. I saw something. Deer is knocking at my door. Well, she's not a deity. She is a spiritual teacher of winter. Well, yeah, absolutely. And of course, the First Nations, Indigenous, worked with those animal totems in a very similar way to, at least from my perspective and in speaking with other Indigenous teachers and leaders, they're like archetypes. Absolutely. So that deer archetype is beautiful. And so trust that, right? Trust that. Genevieve, you've been focusing on connecting with Baba Yaga. Yeah. And Baba Yaga is great because not only is she a crone, but she's very sorceress, witch as well. So, there's always more elements at play. Hecate, yeah, absolutely. Ama Sophia. Beautiful. So, yeah. So I'm going to recap. I'm going to recap now. Thank you. I'm loving all the conversation today. So the nine ways that you can activate your silent knowledge, feel easier to access it, work with the Crone goddesses. Number 1, take 1 hour a week to sit in silence. Even if that means you need to break up that hour, right? We do what we need to do in our lives. But can you start to prioritize that quiet, contemplative time to reflect, to meditate, to be in silence? Number 2, stop multitasking. And I just have to laugh because I know this is endemic really in our modern life. But a couple of suggestions, right? Like just eat your lunch. Don't do anything else. Just eat. Just do the dishes, right? And don't think, oh, I'm also going to get in that podcast that I've been meaning to listen to. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I like listening to things when I'm doing the dishes, but start to notice, am I distracting myself? Am I diluting my focus and my presence with all of the multitasking, right? So, and also just keeping one tab open on your computer. That's a tough one too. But can it be like 3 instead of 25 tabs open, right? Okay, number 3, create more spaciousness in each moment through your breath and presence. And this is really about cultivating the practice of being fully present in each moment. And you'll notice it's amazing how your perception of time shifts. There's suddenly more spaciousness because of your presence. Number 4, take a solo weekend silent retreat for yourself. Wouldn't that be great? And earlier, Carla, I noticed that you just spent 6 weeks traveling solo in Crete. So you win, sister. Not just a weekend. I mean, I know you weren't silent the whole time, but taking that time for yourself. And moms need this the most, and it's really hard for moms to take the time for themselves. So, maybe that's something, if you know someone, maybe you can help each other out. Right? You need some time alone in solitude. I need some time, right? Maybe there's someone that can help you out, make this possible. Number 5, connect to your inner wise woman daily. And like I said, not just going to her when you're in a crisis. Please help me, right? Just connect daily with your own inner knowing, your inner wise woman. Hello. I'm thankful for another day. I'm curious about what today is going to be. Connecting first with that calm, wise energy. Number 6, reframing your perspective on the unknown so that you can trust it more, and that you perhaps will even get to the point of feeling the freedom inherent in the unknown. Number 7, learning what channels of perception are heightened for you. Learning your main intuitive channels so that that's information for you to continue to develop, right? And we already talked about that. So doing that intuitive development work and being really aware of that. Number 8, from that awareness and that practice, you get to discern your own reactions and triggers so that you'll really start to get, like, is that my intuition, or is that simply an emotional reaction or anything? Is that just like an old habitual pattern? So there's that important discernment, and it's something that's ongoing, right? And finally, number 9, I'm inviting you to work with a Crone deity for spiritual support. And of course, the reason that I timed this broadcast, like I said earlier, is because we're still very much in winter, right? Like, even in 3 weeks, it's going to be Imbolc and like early spring energy. There's going to be a shift I mean, not for everyone. For us, we won't really be feeling spring until March. But so give yourself this time in January. Like, make January the month of the crone. So that, especially if you had a hectic holidays and you couldn't really feel that stillness, solitude, the yin, the beautiful, all of that energy around winter solstice, right? That Christmas craziness, if that was your experience, then by all means, give yourself this time now when the entire environment around you is also aligned with this. If you're in the winter, right? But again, we can connect with our crone energy all year long at any time. So my loves, maybe just in that recap, is there one or two that's really jumping out at you? I'd love to hear, if you want to share. Is there one or two of those tips that yes, I want to do that. I need to do that. I'd love to share in the comments. I'd love to witness you in that. And I'm just so delighted that there's been a lot of engagement and comments today, because like I keep on saying, our elders and the crones in general have been so maligned in our society, and because of that, all of her gifts and her wisdom and her magic is being missed, right? In a lot of ways. So this is a big embracing. Great. Trusting the unknown, reframing your perspective of the unknown, witnessing you. Yeah, beautiful. Connect to a crone goddess. Yeah, and continue with weekends of silence or hours of silence. Awesome, Carla. Yeah, and trust me, Artemis is not going to be insulted. Just trust me on that one. It's okay. Artemis is there. You and me both, right? Stop multitasking. Yeah, and be present in every moment. I witness you, sister, and knowing how challenging that is. But your intent for that is really powerful and could, potentially make some big shifts. So witnessing you and wanting to be more present, stopping all of the scattered energy, the multitasking. I really love the reminder to check in with our spirit guides every day rather than only when we need something. Me too. Wonderful. So to wrap up, I would like to share that for my friends Wendy McPherson and Heidi McCurdy are hosting what they're calling a golden tent series. So similar to the red tent, but for crones, right? So it's not about the blood mysteries and the moon cycles. So they are hosting this. This was the only link that Heidi gave me. There is some of the events happening in person just outside of Vancouver, BC, Canada, but they've included an online Zoom option as well so that they can weave in women from all over the world. So I wanted to share their golden tent offering. It just felt like it was the perfect segue if anyone's really wanting to spend some time. I'm not perimenopausal yet, so I'm still in the red tent, but for anyone that is moving into the golden tent, then check out what Heidi and Wendy are offering and see if that sings to you. All right. Well, my loves. Oh, and I guess the other thing I should share, since I have you, is that I did mention my Walking the Wheel program a couple times. So I'm going to put that in the comments as well. It's my self-study program on how to embody Celtic cyclic living. And so it's a lot of these, concepts and practices that we've been speaking of. So, all my loves, yay, thank you, Maria, thank you, Luana, Genevieve, Michelle, Julie. It's been a wonderful group today. So Deep bows to you, and hail and welcome the Crone goddesses, and returning them to their rightful place in the spiral as we honor and embrace all the stages, and most of all, knowing that we can connect to our inner wise woman at any time, and honoring the wisdom of winter, the magic of winter. Yeah. Love you. Mwah. Mwah. Bye for now.